This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
And Wyoming Sports Talk Today on 1480 KRA being brought to you by some great friends, Taco John's of Cheyenne, your home for loaded potato lays, sirloin steak burritos, of course, Taco Tuesdays, and again, maybe you want to load up on the way home, you don't want to cook tonight, get a six-pack and a pound. Always delicious from Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, you will find Steve and the great crew over on Highway 30, your home for Jayco Fifth Wheels, and, of course, travel trailers. How about Chick-fil-A? You will find Ray and Cindy right over here at the corner of Windmill and Del Range across from Menards. Breakfast, lunch, dinner served up 6 days a week, and it's always delicious at Chick-fil-A. Kia of Cheyenne, a weekend to get on out, take a test drive of a 2018 Kia before the 19s arrive and save some big bucks. So see AJ and Greg and the entire crew over at Kia of Cheyenne today or this weekend over on Nationwide. Platte Valley Bank, a couple of banking locations for you. Catch them on the east side as you're heading home at the corner of College and Pershing. Of course, the original location on Vanda High, open Monday through Friday. Medicap Pharmacy, for all your pharmaceutical needs. Gene and his great staff always there to serve you Monday through Saturday, and they're at Bluegrass Circle next to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body ×2. The Main Repair Center on Dunn Avenue, the Auto Glass and Detail Center, you will find them always on Pershing Boulevard. First True Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Talk to them about their special CD rates going on right now. Open Monday through Friday. Across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. It's time to do the Paisan eating thing. And you're going to enjoy delicious eats at Mondello's Pizzeria. Pizza, of course. Their stromboli. You're going to love their calzones and their delicious sandwiches. Always on freshly baked bread. All ingredients fresh from Mondello's Pizzeria. The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council, you just heard the announcement, 635-4592. Give Tim a call. How about Marv's Plumbing and Heating? You can check them out at 1515 Logan Avenue or give them a call. Whether it's, the plumbing or you need the air conditioning fixed, they'll take care of it for you. And we almost get things underway with our scoreboard, which is being brought to you by our good friends at Pepsi of Cheyenne. Here's Nick.
Recap of the Wyoming State Tournament, at least from yesterday. 2 games for the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers. Game number 1 against the Laramie Rangers. They won that contest 13-2. Move on over later that day against Gillette, the Rough Riders, for the state championship. Well, guess what? It was the same with the Cheyenne Post 6 Sixers getting the victory in that one, 8-4. So for Post 6, they are your 2018 Wyoming State AA Legion champions, and they will move on to the regionals that will be happening up next Wednesday up in Missoula, Montana. So best of luck to the Post 6 Sixers. We will have Ty Lane in hour number 2, so we will talk more about that with him.
Major League Baseball, there's one game in progress. Bottom of the 8th inning at Wrigley Field. Cubs are leading the Padres of San Diego 5-2. Games that'll get underway when we get off the air. Reds will take on the Nats at Nats Park. Marlins and the Phils at Citizens Bank Ballpark. Pirates will host the Cardinals. Yankees and the Bo Sox. This will be the second of 4 games that they'll play at Fenway. Angels and the Indians at Progressive Field. Braves and the Mets at Citi Field. White Sox and the Rays in the Trop. Orioles will take on the Rangers at Globe Life Park in Arlington. Rockies will move on to face the Brewers at Miller Park. On the hill will be German Marquez. He's 9-8 with a 4.82 ERA. It will be the Royals and the Twins also in the 6 o'clock hour. Giants and the Diamondbacks once again at Chase Field. That will be in the 7 o'clock hour. 8 o'clock we'll have the Astros and the Dodgers. How about last year's World Series rematch at Dodger Stadium? Justin Verlander will get the call for the Astros. He'll be opposed by Alex Wood. In the 8 o'clock hour as well, the Motor City Kitties of Detroit visit the Oco and the Coliseum to take on the Swingin' A's, who now are in second place in the AL West. And it will be the Blue Jays and the M's at Safeco later tonight. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, Team Master at Pure Leaf.
When you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com. Are you thinking about purchasing a home? Then Platte Valley Bank can help. With Platte Valley Bank, you can count on local decisions and expect to work with an experienced staff to design a loan to fit your needs. Just log on to pvbank.com and fill out our online application. We have money to lend, and at Platte Valley Bank, we are in the business of fulfilling dreams, enriching lives, and building our community one loan at a time.
All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast. Only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms in the afternoon with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 56. On Saturday, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Saturday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Larry Proetti along with Junior Proetti across the way. Nick Proetti. We bring on our first guest. He is the head coach of the Cheyenne East Thunderbirds. And correct me if I'm wrong, Chad Goff, season 13 at the helm as the head man at Cheyenne East?
Yeah, that's correct.
You sound so excited about that. you know, it's amazing, Coach. And again, you know, you've done this for a long time, and not to age anybody here, but I mean, what keeps you motivated to come back time and time again?
You know, you get to deal with some amazing kids, and you get to see them progress from their freshman year, and and all the way through their senior year. You see them progress in the weight room. You see them progress as men, and it's just a really rewarding job.
And you've been fortunate too. I know you get a shift once in a while. Coach has to depart, but you pretty much have been able to keep some of your staff intact for the time that you've been there.
Yeah, we've had most of our staff has been there the full 10 years that I've been there, and so that's been really positive as far as keeping the continuity and everything.
So as you open up training camp officially on Monday with 2-a-days, and again the season starts on the 24th, it seems like the season is getting earlier and earlier every year. So it's like you have to get to business real quick and get everything all situated. You got some holes you got to fill. Tell us a little bit how quick the work's going to have to happen for you.
Well, you're right. We do have some holes, and it does start pretty quick. But hopefully, I think this is the last year, and then the state calendar flips, and the practice will start a little bit later date next year. But we do have a lot of holes. We graduated, I want to say, 24 kids. Most of them had a role on our football team last year, an important role, and so that's kind of exciting going into this season as far as who's going to step up and fill those roles.
Looking at this upcoming schedule for Cheyenne East, you do have 2 road trips up to Gillette with Campbell County and the newly, at least, addition of Thunder Basin from last year, but also to a road trip out to Rock Springs. But for you, Coach, talk about this, at least, schedule for Cheyenne East. What are kind of your feelings heading into this season?
I like the schedule. Obviously, this year we don't travel nearly as much other than the 2 trips to Gillette, but that's becoming not too bad anymore. And so I think the schedule is good. I think it gives us good competition throughout. There's really no, time off or anything. It's just I think the teams are solid. And so, you're going to have to go out and compete every week, which I think is good preparation for you going into the playoffs.
Last year prior to the playoffs, we covered you at Natrona at Cheyenne at Cheney Alumni Field. And I remember we got there early enough to watch the sophomore game. You've got some young kids. Now they're obviously a year older. You got some young kids that are going to be into your program this year that probably are going to step in right away and be big contributors.
Yeah, we are going to be junior class. Is pretty athletic in some spots, and they did a good job at football camp this year. We went to Black Hills State and showed that they're ready to play at the varsity level, and they kind of showed that towards the end of last year. Some of them start working into some special teams and situations like that. But there are some athletes that will be juniors that will have to fill some spots for us this year, no doubt.
What do you gain when you go to these football camps? And again, too, obviously, an old dog can can learn new tricks as well. But what do the kids gain out of these football camps?
The kids, more than anything, they gain the opportunity to be around their teammates away from their home, and live in the dorms together and go eat every meal together and ride on a hot bus together and do all that kind of stuff. As far as the team and the coaching staff, what we gain is it's an opportunity for kids to step up and prove themselves and kind of give us an opportunity to start making some depth charts going into the first day. So you're not, we're not in that era anymore where it's just football starts on August 6th and we'll see you then. It's all year round type stuff, and so it gives us a better idea. It gives us an idea of our strengths, some of the things we probably need to focus on a little more to make us more successful, and it gives us an idea of some of the things that we probably need to, some of the ideas that we had that we probably just need to get rid of.
Well, the first game's coming up here very quickly, August 24th with Week 0. But for you, Coach, just going into the season, we know Sheridan is the defending state champions. At least they will be minus without a head coach, or at least from last season. We also do know that Central hired Mike Apodaca. But for you heading into this season, what are some teams that are kind of on your radar, again, with the likes of a Sheridan and Natrona, but who else might be a bit of surprise in this Class 4A?
Well, one, I think Kelly Walsh. We played them up at camp, and and they got after us a little bit at times. And so they're obviously a team that we're going to have a good battle with. They're big. Having Spiegelberg back, he was a monster up at camp, and so he'll be good. And then I think Central's another team that'll be good this year. They have a lot of returning linemen up front, and their young quarterback, played a lot of the season last year, and he'll be back. And so that experience will help them and make them a little bit better.
Coach, you've had a top program here in Class 4A for the time that you've been the head coach, and again, talking about the top 4 teams. What do you need to do, or what does the East High Thunderbirds need to do to get to that next level? Again, we get to the semifinals, but to get to Laramie, what are you looking for out of your team this season? And again, I know you always set lofty goals, but what are you looking for?
Well, I think one thing that we need to do as a team is become a better team, and just some of the things that have, some of the things you see at camp and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of new kids that you're combining to make one team that they really never had to play with each other. And so we got to become a better team. And then, to get to that next level, we just got to be able to compete better in some of those big games. We played Natrona well last year in the first game and truly just kind of shot ourselves a foot a lot in that game, and then go up there, had a good week of practice, and we just don't show up to compete. And so you got to be able to step up in those games, and when bad things happen, you got to be able to reverse that a little bit quicker, or you just got to be able to do it.
Coach, are you looking at any changes with the offense or defense? I mean, things that you might have seen, because obviously you are a viewer of film, or are you pretty much going to stay with what has been successful for you?
You won't see too much on defense as far as our change. Coach Hesper's done a great job since he's been the defensive coordinator, and the kids seem to fit the system that we're running really well. Offensively, we have the same concept, no doubt about it, but you might see some personnel changes simply because of the type of personnel we had. Last year we were pretty heavy in the receiver area, where this year we're a little bit different sized, and so maybe some more tight end type stuff depending on how that goes in camp.
Well, Coach, we look forward to catching up with you throughout the course of the season. I know we've got you down 4 times that we'll be doing Cheyenne East football, so looking forward to that, and we wish you all the best in the upcoming season.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Chad Goff joining us here on 1480 K-Ray, the East High Thunderbird head coach, again beginning his 13th season as the head man.
Yeah, he started when I was a junior out there at Cheyenne East, so again, I graduated in 2008.
He was on staff.
He was on staff, but at least at the helm. Again, he was introduced there in the 06-07 year after Coach Schroff left, at least with the program. And again, with Chad Goff, again, I've been away for 4 years, or at least 5 or so. I've been away from what has been happening on the locale side, but it seems like kind of getting understanding, looking through history, at least then till now. Again, Cheyenne East has put out always a great product on there. Again, whether it is graduating, as he mentioned, with 24 players last season, they're going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball, but it's nothing that's ever been a true issue for East.
I disagree with you. Again, I saw that sophomore team play up against Natrona last year in the rain at Cheney Alumni Field when we did the regular season game. And I saw a lot of positive things with that young group of kids. And again, just because they're going to be junior, you don't always win championships with senior-laden football teams. How they put this team together.
Certainly not winning it with a sophomore team, though.
Well,
again, you're going to run into a still solid Natrona team. You're going to share it in without minus,
Don Julian.
Don Julian.
Their offensive coordinator's taken over.
But it's still a strong team. But again, looking at the rest of Class 4A, again, Campbell County, what we saw last year, really got decimated with the split of Thunder Basin. Thunder Basin might be improved, but I still don't think they're top. Again, if you want to say top 4, Thunder Basin is not in that mention.
Actually, I would put Kelly Walsup. I'm going to agree with him. Coach Vance's team, as we saw them last year against Cheyenne South, They're a good outfit. They know how to run the football.
I think the dark horse team is not Kelly Walsh. I think it's Cheyenne Central. And again, where we talk with Mike Apodaca, again, we saw stints of what that team could do. It was very young last year, but now with a new head coach, and also too, again, as those kids are older and a year wiser right now, I think Central is that team where it's going to be very interesting to see what they do through Class 4A this upcoming season. Just to go back regarding the schedule, as you mentioned, where we are covering 4 games. Again, those games are on our website, 1480kray.com. But we will be covering East versus Kelly Walsh at home. That will be week 1/week 2, because, again, they go week O to start out.
Central.
And then also, week 3, we will cover East versus South over at Cheyenne East. Then also, in week 5, we will have East versus Laramie there at least Cheyenne East. And then last game that we will cover is the Cheyenne rivalry, the classic one of East versus Central. That game will be over at Central High. So those are the 4 games that we will be covering for the East High Thunderbirds coming up this year.
So we'll be at
pretty much home.
We're at Milt Risky Field. Over at Central, we're at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex for East, and
we will be over at
Bison Stadium in South.
I think our only road trips are up to Kelly Walsh for South, and then also over to Laramie for the classic of Central versus Laramie.
And again, as you were mentioning teams, and again, we can't sell short the Plainsmen. I know they've been through a little bit of a growth spurt, so we'll see what kind of outfit the Plainsmen have. Gillette, like you said last year, they got decimated by the opening of Thunder Basin.
Well, see, you can't say Gillette anymore because, again, it's Campbell County.
It's
Thunder
Campbell
Basin.
County, I'm sorry. And again, too, we look at Sheridan, the Casper schools. We got 3 Cheyenne schools here. So, you just don't know how this thing's going to pan out. And again,
and I think your clear favorites it's got to be Natrona and Sheridan. There's no doubt about it at this point in time of who's either or of who's going to hoist the state championship. Unfortunately, you have to say it's one of those two. Again, Natrona just seems they're similar to Sheridan. They're similar to East. Yeah, absolutely. They find that talent and they find ways to win. So, again, you can't sell any of those teams short. But, again, I think the 2 local teams, at least with Central and East, I think can give them a fight, especially with East. I think they're very fortunate, and that's why I made a point to ask Chad Goff about that, where, what is his thoughts on this schedule where, again, 2 road trips early on to Gillette. So it's pretty much first game for them is Campbell County, come back home for Kelly Walsh, up to Thunder Basin for or at least game number 3. And then their other road trip is out to Rock Springs.
And again, you got 3 testers. I don't care what team Campbell County is going to put on the field. It won't be last year's team.
No, it should be improved.
But it's a long road trip to Campbell County. Okay.
Yeah. So again, they have that little advantage,
and they've had some good battles with Kelly Walsh as of late.
Yeah.
So again,
but they have the advantage of at home,
being at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex, and then, like you mentioned, they got to go back to Thunder Basin again.
But the 2 powerhouses, though, again, as I keep mentioning, with Natrona and Sheridan, they have to come here. So I mean that's huge, and that's very fortunate for Cheyenne East coming up this season. Not saying that's cupcake schedule, but again, the key word is very fortunate of where you do not have to travel to those kind of tough spots.
And the thing too, like he said on the defensive side, Coach Hesford's done a really good job defensively. One of the things they're going to have to do on that Sheridan outfit when they come down, I guarantee you, even though Coach Julian is no longer with the program, coaching the football team, a lot of his philosophy is staying in place. They're going to still have that wide open offense.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And go figure for Cheyenne East and Sheridan, that last game of the season is those 2 meeting up at home, at least here in Cheyenne. That might determine some seeding, might determine a few things. I mean, if East is that team that might be floating at least, and again, I don't think this is a team that's going to miss the playoffs at any time unless something drastic, but that's going to be a key matchup to watch out. Again, the final game between East versus Sheridan. Again, say what you will about regular season, as we talked, at least what we learned from last year. Again, Cheyenne East versus Natrona, game 1, at least regular season, was fine. And then you get to the postseason, their semifinals going up to Casper to take on Natrona, and it was a 44-0 blowout.
Yeah, it was a beatdown. And also, too, and we don't want to dismiss South as well as Coach Gallus out there. He has a lot of holes to fill as well because he had a lot of seniors.
And again, it's a young team just like Campbell County, should improve from what they were last season. Again, their only victory last season was against Campbell County, so I anticipate for the South High Fighting Bison, they should be improved and should add a little bit more wins to the column. But it is a team that still needs a lot of things to work on, at least to not say be elite, but kind of be competitive in this Class 4A, which is pretty stacked as is, especially with where Central might take that role of being elevated this year and so on and so forth.
It's amazing. It is August 3rd, and here we are talking football in depth.
Well, yesterday was the Hall of Fame game in the NFL.
Yeah, I know. And who cared?
No, I don't.
I didn't care, but it's amazing. I mean, we are 3 weeks away from the kickoff of high school football, which is starting way too early. It seems like it starts earlier every year, but like Coach said,
we need to get our next guest on. So
I know, but I'm just saying it's like hopefully the calendar works its way backwards, and we can start playing a little later on in August. All right, we do need to take a timeout. We'll come back, as Nick mentioned. Our next guest, we got some very important stuff to talk with him. Matter of fact, his name is Bill Bender. We'll give you more about him here in just a little bit. We're back after these words.
At Medicap Pharmacy, we
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Welcome back to Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Larry Perotti, Nick Perotti. We are joined by our next guest, Bill Bender, Sporting News National college football writer. Bill, we thank you so much for joining us. And for those folks that have been vacationing hot and heavy or off on another planet, we got to get everybody caught up on the Urban Meyer situation. What the heck is going on in Columbus? Can you capsulize it for us, Bill?
Well, I mean, Urban Meyer issued a statement this afternoon, and that's the next step, because I think the lines are being drawn now. There's, on one side, Courtney Smith's side of the story, domestic violence, there's a big movement there, and on the other side, Urban Meyer's trying to keep his job, his reputation, and Zach Smith's about to go on SportsCenter, and that's going to be the next step. So, very live situation, a lot of things going on, and obviously when you're dealing with one of the biggest football factories in the country, it's a big deal.
Now, Urban has been dismissed as the head coach. I should say suspended as the head coach. So, if I'm not mistaken, offensive coordinator Ryan Day is going to take over in Meyer's absence?
Yeah, they had their first day of fall camp today, and it made sense not to have the players talk to the media. I thought that was a good move. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I mean, the university's going to have an investigation. But like I said, with this statement that just happened, it seems like we're at the point where Urban Meyer's going to say, hey, come and fire me. And on the other end, the university's going to have a lot more pressure on it now. I don't know if that statement was a good idea because I thought the tide was kind of turning in his favor before that.
How long do you think this investigation is going to take with Ohio State?
Well, I don't know if they'll do anything over the weekend because that's how those committees work. So I think it could drag into into next week, early next week. I would be surprised if we don't have an answer or some sort of clarity on this by next Wednesday, though, because it's getting real now. I mean, obviously, Urban doubled down on a report. That means somebody knew something, and they kept the guy on the staff. That's going to be the hang-up now. So step by step, it'll be interesting to see how this goes, but it's a very quick, fast-moving situation.
With this situation, at least through NCAA, at least college football, Division I, is this going to have any kind of ripple effect? Is the NCAA going to start, outlining to schools of, hey, we need to nip this in the bud of situations like this? I mean, does this have any sort of ripple effect around Division I NCAA football?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge case. If he gets fired, I think it has to be a line in the sand, as in this can't happen anymore. You can't overlook these kind of things, and I think that's starting to get lost now because on one side you have an alleged victim, and then on the other side Zach Smith's going on SportsCenter. Domestic violence and alleged domestic violence is a huge freaking deal. It's a huge deal, and the days of looking the other way are over. So we're trying to figure out if Urban Meyer did in fact look the other way. If he didn't, then how did we get to this point? Why did they fire Zach Smith? These are big questions that haven't been answered, and now the university is going to have to answer them.
We're talking with Bill Bender, Sporting News National college football writer. But Meyer did fire Smith on July 23rd, so, I mean, way too late, obviously, right?
Well, I mean, right after the Brett McMurphy report. So, yeah, I would say that's too little too late when it comes to if some of the things in the McMurphy report are true about coaches on the staff knowing, about it. If wives of those coaches knew about what was going on, then why was this guy on the staff? And that question hasn't been answered yet.
Bill, it's interesting, and you said something when Nick asked you that one question, but a lot of these coaches, especially in these high-profile programs, and, we could even talk college hoops too, but what is the mentality with these guys? Not so much that they're holier than thou, but it's almost like they're under this bubble of protection and they can't do any wrong. I mean, what is this mentality with some of these coaches?
Well, it comes from winning. I mean, winning feels good. I mean, you can look at it from any other example. Joe Paterno, he won. He won more college FBS games than any other coach. Art Briles turned a cellar dweller in the Big 12 into a Big 12 champion. And it won, and it felt good. And Urban Meyer, his reputation's on the line now because I think when most people think of Urban Meyer, they think two things. They think there's one of the top 5 coaches of all time who wins big, but the cost is a lot of issues with player behavior. And in this case, it's not player behavior, it's the coach's behavior. And to me, that's even worse because the coach is in charge of the players.
But are the universities at fault, though, too, because these coaches, even though they don't do the right thing all the time, but these coaches are bringing in ample dollars to these institutions. So are the universities just as guilty as the coaches?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes. I don't know. I mean, that's the balance of power because you're seeing right now Zach Smith's going after Gene Smith and the athletic director and the athletic department, but they hire these guys. And I think it's a culture within the athletic department. I had a friend ask me a simple question earlier this week, and I couldn't answer it for him. He said, why can't these coaches who are so successful and such good leaders when it's 4th and 4, why can't they just do the right thing? And it's amazing how many times I've asked myself that same question covering college sports because it is big money, it is big dollars, it is big winning, and a lot of school pride. But sometimes it just comes down to why can't you just do the right thing?
for Ohio State, as we're mentioning with that school, but what is the ramifications once we get done with the investigation for the Buckeyes? Are we looking at possible, death penalty? I mean, is it something where this football program is going to be hurting for the next couple of years? I mean, if all kind of goes towards the negatives of what it's looking like it is, what is the ramifications, at least for Buckeye football, for the future?
Well, I don't think they'll get the death penalty. That's only been used once, and I think we'll see. I mean, it's a lot of to be determined. I think this investigation is huge, though. A lot of pressure on the university because worst-case scenario, I mean, when this happened with Jim Tressel, that was over tattoos and player memorabilia, and they had a one-year bowl ban, and then they ended up with Urban Meyer. You could argue that the program was left in better shape from the Jim Tressel scandal. I do think there needs to be a punishment if there was indeed things that went wrong. But right now, it looks like Urban Meyer, and he's digging in and saying, come at me, and we're going to see what the next step is. But I think the stakes have been raised on both sides pretty big in the last half hour or so.
When is the NCAA going to get tougher? And again, not so much on the death penalty, but we've said this before. When coaches do wrong, even head coaches, and then they seem to – they'll slip away from this institution, whether they get fired or not. But there's another institution that's going to open, their doors wide open for that coach. Come on in, we want you. When is the NCAA going to grow some and say you are banned for life? When is that going to ever happen?
Well, it didn't happen to Art Briles. I mean, I don't know that Art Briles will ever be in charge of an FBS school again. I think they do need. I agree with you there. I think. When something huge happens, they shouldn't be able to. You can't deny somebody the right to make a living, but you can deny it in this field because I think it's a privilege to be a college football coach, and you see so many coaches take advantage of the system. So, it would be interesting if they did step up and have stronger penalties for that. But that's been a problem with inconsistency with punishment. The NCAA is a punching bag, and I get it, but I think their biggest problem is inconsistent punishments. I would agree with you there.
Bill, we got to let you go. I understand we had you for a short period of time today, and I want to thank you so much for updating us on the situation over in Columbus. We do appreciate your time today.
Well, next time I come on, let's talk some X's and O's and teams and games.
Hey, we'll even throw in there Wyoming's defense. How does that sound?
I'd rather talk Wyoming's defense than this kind of stuff any day.
Yeah, let's talk some real football. And you know what? We're gonna make sure Nick's gonna get back in touch with you, and we'll grab some more college football as the season gets underway.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Bill Bender, Sporting News National College Football Writer. We are going to take a timeout. We're going to be right back with more here on 1480 KRA.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
All right, good half of football, boys. Now, good is good, but we can always be better. Look at Taco John's. They took those tasty little potato lays and loaded them up with bacon and ranch and all kinds of good stuff. They made something good even better.
Taco John's new loaded potato olays are loaded with craveable toppings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even dessert.
So olay the day, boys, and play like you're making loaded potato lays.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? They can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. They have a 16th-month CD at an APY of 2.05% and a 27th-month CD at an APY of 2.27%. You can feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms in the afternoon with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 56. On Saturday, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Saturday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
Here, the season never ends. From Wyoming sports to the Broncos in Denver. From Rockies baseball to talking hoops with Nuggets basketball. Local, regional, and national. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and again, I want to thank Bill Bender for joining us and giving us an update on the situation out of Columbus. And again, Nick, it goes back.
It's also a fiery, at least it is a live situation where I do believe a few minutes ago.
It's a hand grenade there.
Well, I'm just saying it's more so of a situation where Urban Meyer did come out with a statement a little while ago. We'll try and find that. But
I got it right here.
Yeah, at least he went on social media, gave out. It wasn't anything that he pre-wrote up, so, and then just kind of shared it on the social media sides. But if you have it in front of you,
it says here, Urban Meyer issued a statement today saying that he failed when he denied knowing about domestic violence allegations against one of his former assistant coaches. Meyer said last week that he knew nothing about a 2015 complaint or any other domestic issues that Zach Smith had during the 6 years Meyer and Smith worked together at Ohio State. Zach Smith's ex-wife said this week that she had shared text with Meyer's wife detailing years of domestic violence. Courtney Smith said she was not sure if Urban Meyer knew about the allegations. So,
and again, it's a situation where Urban Meyer and everything, at least parties, again, not guilty at this point. It is under investigation, so it is, they are innocent until proven guilty. But everything, the evidence so far that has been presented, it's looking like this is not going to be a very favorable thing for that coaching staff, including Urban Meyer and Ohio State. And it's just another it's just interesting in college football where, and it was very poignant that Bill brought it up. But again, you look at Penn State of what happened with Paterno. And again, he clearly knew about the of what was happening in there, but it just kind of basically swept it under the rug. Did nothing about it. Did nothing, and it's just interesting that we're seeing nothing to. I mean, they're both very wrong. At least again, the extremity. At least extreme. Well, again, what Penn State was just was just awful, but same situation here. It's just amazing. Again, two top-level programs here in college football, both in the Big Ten, and again, you have this, marred with controversy. It takes away from your student athletes again of what this is truly about. Is those
and the student athletes haven't been angels either under his regime either, and as you mentioned prior to that, under Jim Tressel. Here we go. Here's the truth. While at the University of Florida, now Ohio State University, this is Urban Meyer. I have always followed proper reporting protocols and procedures when I have learned of an incident involving a student athlete, coach, or member of our staff by elevating the issues to the proper channels. Meyer said in a statement posted on Twitter. And I did so regarding the Zach Smith incident in 2015. I take that responsibility very seriously, and any suggestion to the contrary is simply false. Now, Meyer admitted that he did not handle the situation correctly during Big Ten Media Days, saying that his job is to be clear, compassionate, and most of all, completely accurate.
Yeah. Well, and again, with what Ohio State is doing right now, again, they put him on play. At least he's
administrative leave
again, where he's still getting paid right now. But what that pretty much mean is it's kind of your death warrant right there of you're pretty much on the way out of that program. At least if you go off of other coaches who've been placed on that administrative leave.
But, here's the deal, Nick, and I'm going to say this right now, and I don't know whether you're going to agree or disagree with me. And this goes back to
we'll see.
The coach up in Seattle, Dennis Erickson.
How about Pete Carroll?
Pete Carroll.
There you go.
Anyway, having a senior moment again. But here's my deal. These guys, and let's just say for argument's sake that Meyer.
And again, Pete Carroll didn't do anything as awful of what these situations are.
But he broke the rules.
Yeah, he broke rules. But it wasn't anything extreme of what we're seeing right now.
But this is breaking the rules as well.
This is breaking the rules and then some. This is going above and beyond.
And again, whether Meyer loses his job at Ohio State.
Which is sounding like he's going to.
Yeah. But, again, if I'm over at, Larry Pro at a college and I hear that Urban Meyer's been released, I'm on the phone to give him a call. Hey,
here I am, a Big Sky school or some program that is looking to elevate.
And we'll pay $1 million.
Absolutely. Hey, we're down in the dumps right now. We want to get money and revenue and eyeballs and wins back to this program. Hey, Urban Meyer, come on by.
And this is what I'm driving at, Nick.
It's kind of like, hey, Rick Pitino in basketball. Yeah. You're not doing anything.
Or
come
at
on
Arizona, too. But see, the thing is, this is where the NCAA needs to grow some. And they need to say, you're done.
Yeah.
You're out of our business. Now, I wish the NCAA could express that disappointment to the National Football League and ban this guy for life. He should not be allowed to make a living because he broke the rules. Most of these guys that do stuff like this end up if we did that, you and me did it, we're in jail.
Yeah. Well, and again, that's just kind of the system as as we've talked about. Of hey, again, he's got notoriety. He's
but why are these guys protected? Why?
I don't know.
Do not ask me. Then they should not be protected no more. If he did the crime, you do the time.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like he's going to do any time. Hopefully, at least the assistant coach will.
He's not really, but he is actually a co-conspirator.
Yeah,
he knew this was wrong.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. This is what's wrong with.
That's where you kind of walk at least a fine line, a gray area of trying to figure out of what at least is it something that is punishable or something like that. Again, this is a situation where at least with Urban Meyer, hey, you've messed up. You're not allowed to do, at least harm any other programs. Because, again, who knows what's going to happen with Ohio State football in general, though, of what that program's going to suffer for. Again, not so much, again, I tossed out, but, again, are they going to see a death penalty? I really don't think so. Is it a situation where
on that?
No, it really isn't. But is it a situation where maybe they sit out 1 year or two from the playoffs, or again don't have the option for a bowl bid or something, or maybe wins are retracted from those years past, at least under Urban Meyer.
But again,
who knows?
Then again, you're punishing the institution. And
I guess what? They got it.
Well, here's where I'm at with this.
It's kind of a similar situation with Penn State. Again, what did you do? You put the death penalty on them. They didn't see a bowl bid for 4 years.
But again, same situation. Ohio State, I don't know if they should get penalized. I think Urban Meyer should get penalized, not the football program.
Then why did Penn State why did the Nittany Lions, why did they have to go through a 4-year no bowl bid, again, no playoff action for them because
basically
two wrong.
The administration knew about it. This doesn't go from
but again, the players did not. They didn't do anything about it. They didn't do anything wrong. Then why do the players have to suffer for that?
But administration knew about it, though. That's what I'm saying. The institution.
We don't know how far this goes for Ohio State. Again, so far we know
let's
two
just say
parties.
That the institution doesn't know anything. It's between Zach Smith and Urban Meyer.
All right.
Meyer's wife and Zach Smith's wife. But I'm just saying, this is a situation right now where we're talking domestic abuse.
Yeah.
This is punishable by putting you behind bars.
And I think with Zach Smith, again, he is innocent until proven guilty at this point, but I would not doubt that he does. Will Urban Meyer, again, with his precedent, with his notoriety, again, of being that public figure around the nation? No, I really don't. I think what happens is he gets slapped with a fine. He's removed from his job at Ohio State, probably sits out for a while, and then you're going to see him somewhere eventually coaching football again.
Here's where I pull out the old fart part of me. Why do these guys protect these guys?
I don't know.
What is their damage?
I think it's just a situation to paint the picture of, hey, our program and our football program, it has no issues.
Our football has no.
So
it does have an issue with this guy.
Again, it's a situation, again, in my opinion, maybe it's, hey, let's turn the other cheek on it, and maybe it takes care of itself and does not become a problem. Well, guess what? It has. It has creeped into something massive right now for Ohio State. But, again, in my opinion, probably the same with Paterno. Hey, I'm going to turn the cheek, act as if I did not know about this, and hopefully it goes away.
And it did.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And again, I think that, again, avoiding the difficulty instead of manning up and telling, again, that Urban Meyer, at least at this point, for what we're learning, should have done. again, just manned up and just said, hey, I'm learning about this about my assistant coach. He needs to go.
And again, Joe Pa, back at Penn State, the fans forgave him because it wasn't him doing the act.
Yeah.
And they forgave him.
Again, not saying it was right of what Paterno did, but again, I understand where the fans come from because, again, who was the true evil of that thing? Sandusky. He was the true where, again, all focus really needed to be on him, and I think that was kind of fair.
Same thing, too, was Zach Smith. The evil is Zach Smith.
And, again, hopefully he gets punished or at least gets the heavy punishment. Yeah. Now, Urban Meyer, again, what he gets hit with, hopefully it is something not as extreme, but, again, sounds like he will be removed.
See, here's what happened with Urban Meyer, though, Nick, is that Urban Meyer, if he would have grew some back then, he would have fired Smith once this.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Is why not? Why did you not man up and get rid of him at the time that you knew about this, or notify something?
I mean, this happened back in 2009.
Was he really that worth to your program as an assistant coach that you needed a bond and to overlook something like this?
I think sometimes these coaches kind of put their heads in the sand and everything's going to clear
unless Urban Meyer has an ego to himself of going, hey, this is, I don't need to deal with this. This is not on my watch. Whatever. I'm going to focus on winning a championship.
And again, in these type of situations, if the coaching staff or a player is going to be dismissed, I think at the top, the buck's going to have to stop there.
Yeah.
And in the case of Urban Meyer, you knew about it. You didn't do anything about it.
Oh, yeah, and
you need to be released, and you need not to come back and coach ever again in college football because you cannot be trusted.
But that's not going to happen. Not in this day and age.
That's why I'm saying the NCAA is a bunch of old farts that won't do anything because they're afraid of their own shadow.
But also, too, does NCAA have that option? Do they have that ability to, again, we'll have to kind of do some research on that. Does the NCAA really have that governing body, at least have that ability to say, no, you are barred as a coach? Again, as Bill put, again, when we talked with him, he put up a good point of, well, you can't really just outright ban him, at least ban him for the ability to have a job. Again, what does the NCAA have ability to do with this? Does he, is it a situation where they can maximize of just suspension for years? Or is it a situation where the NCAA has that opportunity to ban and say, no, you're barred from coaching at any level in the NCAA, goodbye? Do they have that ability?
What happens to a student if they do something like that? They're kicked off the team.
Yeah, but they do have the option to go to any other school, though, if that school is willing to pick them up, which
but they also have the option to go to jail as well.
Yeah.
So,
Urban Meyer's not going to jail in this book.
I know, but again, he knew about it, and to me, and not saying nothing, and we're going back 9 years, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, yeah, I can't trust the man anymore. I can't trust him around the students, the student athletes.
Mm.
He's a man, in my opinion, who can't be trusted no more. And he needs to go. And he needs to be fired.
Oh, he's going to be.
Banned for life. Again, the NCAA needs to stand up, take a stand, make him an example.
If they can. Again, that is the question, though, is if they can do that. Do they have that option to do it?
What are they afraid of? That these guys are going to get a big, high-dollar lawyer, take them to court, and they don't want to go all the way to the Supreme Court?
Possibly. Again, the NCAA as a governing body does seem like...
You need to get rid of the governing body of the NCAA.
I think that's been obvious for quite some time. The NCAA, at least that body, has just been garbage.
Do we have another break here?
No.
Okay, I wanted to mention this real quick. Bob Evans Restaurants announced yesterday that
we're going to go from Ohio State to a restaurant.
No. This is concerns Urban Meyer.
All right.
It's the same thing with Papa John Schnatter. That the restaurants, that it was putting its relationship with Ohio State football coach Urban Meyer on hold after the school was putting on paid administrative leave. The restaurant chain headquartered in Ohio had just announced the partnership that Meyer head breakfast coach on Monday. So at Bob Evans, they strongly believe in the family first values upon which the company was founded. Of course, the company makes in a statement, Bob Evans Restaurants is suspending the current partnership with Urban Meyer and removing all related content pending the results of the official Ohio State University investigation.
Good on them. I don't have an issue. Who cares?
So
again, good on, again, of saying, hey, we're going to separate ourselves for this. Again, we don't believe in what they've done. Good on them.
So Meyer was scheduled to appear in TV, radio, and digital ads. The crisis happened so soon after announcing the deal that signs of Meyer inside the restaurants had yet to be put up.
Whatever. So. Oh, well. No big loss on that one, granted. I've never been to Bob Evans, so who knows. Anyway, so
I never went to a Bob Evans.
Again, the big question is what is going to happen? What is going to be the end result of this investigation? Also, of 1B of a major question as well is what happens to Ohio State, at least with football? Again, is this a situation where we see, again, where Ohio State football has been a pretty much dynasty for quite some time? At least it's slowly getting back into relevancy.
A lot of my lifetime, it's been a dynasty.
Again, there were some rough years, but is this something where Ohio? Again, we saw Penn State where those 4 years they struggled. Granted, they've crawled back in. Again, they are that established college at least program. But is this a situation where Ohio State, at least with football as we know it out there, is it going to be where they're going to be pretty much bottom of the basement dwellers for quite some time in the Big Ten?
I don't think they're going to.
Or do they not miss a beat?
They don't get a death penalty. And here's what's going to happen, Nick. Let's be real. Urban Meyer loses his job. Let's just say, for argument's sake.
Hey, again, we have to preface he is not, but it's looking as if he is going to.
Let's say he does. You know what? Who's next? There's going to be a high-profile coach somewhere that Ohio State can lure to come to Columbus.
That's true.
I mean, let's be real.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you look at, in my lifetime, Woody Hayes, and then he was followed up by Earl Bruce. I mean, the list goes on and on now.
But does this situation maybe sour coach? Again, it seems kind of wacky to think about it, but is it a situation where maybe recruits kind of look at this and go, I don't know if I really want to go to school here anymore.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you have fan support over 100,000 in the Horseshoe every Saturday that the Buckeyes play at home, they're on national television.
Who says fans even show up? Maybe fans are very disappointed of how the Ohio State. Again, this is only two parties, but
this isn't the football program. This is the coaching staff. And the
that involves the football program.
I understand, but the coaching staff has.
You don't think folks again who right now with the NFL.
If you get rid of Meyer, Nick, that forgives right away. That forgives the bad that happened. Hey,
again, this investigation is not done. We do not know of extended parties, but is this a situation? It's certainly something that you're going to have to wait and see of what happens. Again, this investigation is going to probably take some time, maybe a few months to figure out of all pieces if it is just those two parties involved or if it's even more. But, it is a wait and see of what's going to happen. Does this affect Ohio State football for this season? Absolutely. I think absolutely. I think you do not see a Ohio State team that is what is kind of anticipated of being one of the top dogs, favorites of at least for the national title. I think it's a situation with the Buckeyes. This is going to hurt that for at least for this season. It's going to hurt them a bit. They're going to feel this ramifications around at least this program of, not saying that they're going to take wins or suspend them or suspend play or anything. It's going to affect players on the field. I think it's going to affect the level. Again, you're right now dealing with coaching situations. Maybe this assistant is, at least who's in place right now, takes control of things, but I highly doubt it. But we'll see. It's right now for Ohio State something to watch for quite some time.
I don't think that the football program is going to miss a beat offensively, defensively.
I'm just saying, is it a possibility where, again, this kind of affects the psyche of those kids out there, or at least those young men
playing?
Knowing
that Meyer's not going to be back, I think that's going to.
Well, again, it's an outside distraction where it's going to.
But I think for now, they're going to. It's business as usual.
We'll see.
And you got the veterans that are still there, and again, this is an older team. And they know the system. I mean, basically, this inside out.
Yeah.
Urban Meyer he hasn't changed much his offense and defense. This guy, Ryan Daves, worked with Meyer at Florida and then joined the staff last year. He's the offensive coordinator. They know exactly what to do.
But again, with offensive coordinators, we've seen plenty of them kind of rise to the occasion and not do squat as a head coach and whatnot. Again, where they don't, not saying they don't have that talent, but it just doesn't translate well to at least running the entire program or at least figuring things out. So again, it's not a guarantee that this guy is going to go and carry on that tradition. Again, they have great talent out there, but is this something that snowballs into effect of it's a major outside distraction that keeps those players focused on that instead of playing football.
Well, if Meyer gets fired, then you look at the incoming freshman class, and a lot of them will be redshirted. Most of them probably will get redshirted. Then you look at the class of the redshirt freshmen that will be available to play for Ohio State. I think those are the two classes that may think that they might want to transfer because they were brought in by Urban Meyer. Other than that, the group that's in there now.
And guess what? That hurts Ohio State for the future because again, you gotta retool and rebuild.
And who again?
And again, that affects younger recruits as well too. Going, oh well, if they don't want to play and they're top level, they don't want to stay here, then I don't want to go either.
But again, Ohio State is such a prolific job.
But this is a big black eye right now for Ohio State, where this affects the reputation.
But also too, you're going to go in there and you're going to be the knight in shining armor, the white knight in shining armor. You're going to clean up that program.
That's great dreaming, but is that going to be reality?
Well, there's that coach out there that says they can do it. We got to move on. We got to move into the next hour. We got Ty Lane, who is the skipper of the state champion,
which is nothing new for him. He's been doing
American Legion AA Post Sixers.
This is 16 out of the last 18, so it's nothing new for him.
Just another day at the office.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be back with hour number 2 after these words right here in 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
As Cheyenne's weather turns warmer, dust and pollen can become a problem for those with allergies, asthma, or respiratory issues. And the last thing you want in the summer heat is poor air quality in your home or office. So it's time to turn to Marv's Plumbing and Heating. That's right, Cheyenne's most trusted plumbing, sewer, and heating business also services air conditioning. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, can handle all your air conditioning needs. Give them a call, 316-7634. That's 316-7634.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local, it's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Well, the first hour is devoted to football. We had East High head coach Chad Goff join us. Then we talked to Bill Bender, who led us into the Urban Meyer situation where Nick and I finished it up here in the 3 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we could spend probably hours on it.
We got baseball coming up, but I'm looking forward to it. So I wanted to let you know that hour number 2, again, being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30, Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Delrange. And how many folks did we see coming into Powers Field bringing in Chick-fil-A again?
Umpteenth.
Sitting in front of me. I really enjoyed it yesterday, trust me. Key of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. We want to thank Platte Valley Bank Types 2 over on Vanda High, the original location, and the east side location at the corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs over on Bluegrass Circle next to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body times 2. Heather and her great staff, they will repair them for you on Dunn Avenue. And they'll do some minor repairs for you as well over on Pershing Boulevard with the Auto Glass and Detail Center. First Year Bank at 1508 Stillwater Avenue, open Monday through Friday. Mondello's Pizzeria, 7 days a week, delicious Paisan cuisine. 1507 Stillwater Avenue, right across the street, Suite D in the Greenway Commons. We also want to thank the Wyoming-Montana Safety Council, 635-4592. Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. And, of course, we get things underway with our scoreboard brought to you by, right here, folks, Pepsi of Cheyenne.
I doubt they can even see that. Anyways, though, as Don't showcase to at least my camera. Anyway, so for local action with yesterday's state tournament wrapping up, there was 2 games for Cheyenne Post 6. Earlier contest against the Laramie Rangers was a 13-2 victory. And then game number 2 of the day against the Gillette Rough Riders was the state championship game. And it was another victory for the Post 6 Sixers, 8-4 against Gillette. So for Cheyenne Post 6, they are your 2018 state Legion AA champions, as they will head on up to Missoula, Montana for the regionals coming up next Wednesday. So that's what's happening, at least on the local side, on baseball.
Major League Baseball, Cubs win. They win at Wrigley today. They beat the Padres 5-4. Games that'll get it away when we get out of here. Reds at the Nats, Marlins at the Phils. It will be the Cardinals taking on the Pirates at PNC. Yankees and the Bo Sox at Fenway. That'll be game 2 of a 4-game set. Angels and the Indians at Progressive Field. Braves and the Mets at Citi Field. White Sox and the Rays at Tropicana. 6 o'clock hour, we'll have the Orioles and the Rangers. Rocks and the Brewers with German Marquez towing the rubber. He's 9-8 on the season, 4.82 ERA.
I don't think it really matters. Again, it's kind of up to that bullpen if they want to blow another one.
And Wade Davis very capable of doing that as well.
Did it against St. Louis.
Yes, he did. Royals and the Twins at Target Field. 7:40 tonight. Giants and the D-backs. That will be at Chase Field. It's only 105 right now in Phoenix.
Perfect. I think when I'm in Dallas tomorrow at 8 a.m., it's going to be 100, so I love it.
Oh, you're used to that stuff.
Again.
So, yeah. What's it at Globe Life right now? It's 97.
Perfect.
Astros and the Dodgers at Chavez Ravine. Great interleague matchup again. Oh, by the way, last year's World Series combatants. Also,
Go Houston.
Tigers and the A's in the Oco. That will be this evening, and the Blue Jays will face off with the Mariners at Safeco. That's coming up late this evening. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
This is the Pepsi that's got a date with your taste buds. We're talking 1,000 bubbles dancing a two-step with you and 2 tacos at 2 a.m.
Order number 83? Come on, you're up!
This is the Pepsi that has mastered the art of the late-night munchies and is always down to dig into some deep dish.
Hey, we don't do deep dish, capiche?
Try telling that to Chicago. This is the Pepsi for po' boys, pulled pork sliders, and the godfather of all sandwiches, the Godfather. This is the Pepsi for street carts, anything a la carte, and is dying to make the leap into your grocery cart. Come on, take us home with you. This is the Pepsi for those who are forever fun. This is the Pepsi for every generation.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Boys, I know you take great pride in being prairie dogs, but our mascot needs more sizzle. And what has more sizzle than Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos? So meet your new mascot, a sirloin steak burrito.
Taco John's new sirloin steak burritos are loaded with steak and bold flavors like cheesesteak, steak and potato, and steak and shrimp.
God, Wachowski, stop eating the mascot.
Olay the Day at Taco John's.
Wow, it's hot enough out there to fry chicken. So now's the time to find ways to beat the heat, and Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue, is the best place to go to get cool. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, which provides complete air conditioning, installation, inspection, and repair services, is offering its air conditioning inspections for just $98. So beat the heat right now by calling Marv's Plumbing and Heating today at 316-7634. That's 316-7634. Chick-fil-A is a proud supporter of our high school athletes at East, Central, and South. May the school year bring success to all of you. Before you start your day, stop by Chick-fil-A for a hearty, delicious, and satisfying breakfast, only at Windmill and Del Range. Breakfast is served Monday through Saturday from 6 in the morning till 10:30 a.m. Breakfast with Chick-fil-A, the most important meal of the day at Windmill and Del Range.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms in the afternoon with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 56. On Saturday, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Saturday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Well, we had us pop in here earlier this week. We had Tag Lane in here, who's now into the American Legion Hall of Fame in the state of Wyoming. Now we get Junior in here, Ty, who just keeps up that family tradition of winning state championships. But
nothing new for him again.
Yeah, but as we were talking, they're just as sweet, but they seem to get harder and harder every year, don't they?
Yeah, no doubt, man. This was a fun one. We were put to the test at pretty much in every aspect, and our guys grinded and found a way to come through on the last day.
When I was reading the recap this morning, of course, I was out there all 7 innings and left as the celebration took place because, I've been there, did it, done it, and you've been there and did it, done it.
It's more so
well.
he didn't want to get stuck in traffic.
That too. There was a lot of. It was a great crowd. You got to admit, for that championship game, Powersfield had a good crowd. But you look back at yesterday's game, and you've already played half a major league schedule. My goodness. What keeps these kids motivated?
Yeah, we hit I think it was our 81st game in the state championship game, and it's been a grind. We started in early April and been going pretty heavy ever since. And school gets out, we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we play usually either Tuesday or Wednesday. So they've been grinding it out for a long time. I think the biggest thing that kept us motivated was the idea of being in the moment that we were in last night and being able to take advantage of that opportunity.
And let me add this too, though, Nick. You guys have played more than even like a Pac-12 college program. The 81 games, and you still have more to play. That's the good news. Right. And we'll get into that here in a minute, but let's talk about the effort that was thrown out there. And Nick, I know you'll talk about the first game because you were there, but I'm going to talk about the championship game. Cody Brooks, boy, I'll tell you what, I think you got more than you bargained for out of him, and he was dotting the corners. He was hitting the zone yesterday. You had to be very proud of his effort.
Yeah, very proud. Cody Brooks has been unbelievable for us really the last 2 years. It's really nice to be able to go into a game like that and have a guy like Cody with that much experience in big moments. He pitched in the undefeated game against Gillette last year in the state tournament and beat them 3-1. And then he pitched against Medford, Oregon at the first game of the regional and threw a shutout there. But for him, it just seems like the bigger the moment is, the better that he is on the mound. And we know in big situations we've got a guy that can go out there and handle that and throw well.
Were you shocked that Laramie did you guys a favor by beating Gillette? Because, again, this is a different format than you've had before. In years past, Gillette would have been the #1 seed. They would have had a bye, wouldn't have had to play, and again, you would have had to come through the losers bracket after losing to them. But they had to play just like you did, and Laramie beat them 2-1. Did that shock you a little bit that you didn't have to do the doubleheader?
It shocked all of us. We thought Gillette was just going to at least not run the table, but at that point it was, we saw what you guys already did to Laramie. Gillette was a force route, but it was, I think throughout it had to be a shock.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a surprise. We knew that Laramie had their #1 pitcher, their best arm left and available to throw. He threw early in the tournament and was able to come back that day. And we were not exactly sure how Gillette would play it. You have some different options when you're in that spot. You can save all of your arms for the last day and play for a one-game championship loaded up, or you could try to go after that win a little bit more, maybe use a bullet or two, but have to be beaten twice on the last day. So we weren't sure exactly which route they would go. I thought they got an unbelievable start from Conklin in that game to keep the score 1-1 for as long as it was. Just they couldn't get anything going offensively off of Reed Beatty, and Reed is a tough guy to face for sure. And anything can happen in that game where Gillette doesn't have to win and Laramie's playing for their life. No matter what the matchup is and who's playing, in those scenarios, some crazy things can happen. We lost to Sheridan in that game last season where we were the undefeated team, and we saved a little bit of pitching and it ended up working out for us. But you never know exactly how that one's going to go.
Let's keep on the Laramie theme and talk about yesterday's first contest there in the state tournament, but against the Laramie Rangers, where offense a little bit slow out of the gate. It was a little bit worrisome, at least in the first inning, as a few walks were kind of allowed for at least the Laramie Rangers. But talk about the offense kind of exploding throughout that game, especially with one Jackson Hesford, where he went 4 for 4 in that contest. But talk a little bit of how that game went throughout the day.
Yeah, the pressure was on, man, and our guys were feeling that a little bit, and I think it was a good test for us to be put into that type of situation. And we came out, and I think we had the bases loaded with maybe 1 out, and we're able to find a way to get out of that inning, giving up 1 run, keeping ourselves in the game. And then, Jackson Hesford comes through with just, I think he hits a double down the left field line, drives a run in to tie the game up. And I think that goes back to playing an 81-game schedule. You get that many games, you get young guys like Jackson Hesford, who's a freshman, who got 4 hits. Storm Nelson got a couple hits in that game. He's a freshman. Dawson McCleary played great throughout that entire state tournament. He's a sophomore. It takes 81 games to get those guys the type of experience they need to be able to perform in those big situations. And our young guys really stepped up throughout this tournament, and our veterans, did their job and played great and gave us a great chance to win.
You saw that in the second game, too, in the championship game, where you said the younger guys came through. And one of the things that I think as a coach you have to be very happy, because you didn't do a lot of running. And the thing was, though, you got the timely hits that allowed you to run, to go from second to home. But, again, it was the younger guys that came through and a couple of veterans that also chipped in. But every advantage you had yesterday that was thrown at you, you took advantage of it.
Yeah, no doubt. The young guys came through. I think, Braxton Ennis hasn't had very many starts throughout this summer, and for him to go out and give us 5-6 innings against Laramie, throw 89 pitches, that's as far as we've pushed him probably since early June. So that outing for a senior to do that for us was huge. It allowed us to bring Ryan Andren in on the backside of the Gillette game in the state title game. And I think having his presence, taking the mound when things start to get a little sticky, it's a calming feeling knowing that you're sending Ryan Andren out to the mound to handle that situation. And calmed our guys down, got us out of that little jam, and finished it off there.
And I think it also goes credit to Braxton Ennis, at least going back to him again, where we saw in the contest, the earlier contest with Post 6 and Gillette, where he was a little bit shaky in that contest, but at least on the rebound there on Thursday, find a way again. That senior, at least playing those 81 games, he has that ability to kind of just wipe that away and just focus on winning baseball for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. That's senior leadership that's been there, done that, and he's handled that moment well. This year for Braxton, it seems, if you can get him 20, 25 pitches into the game, he becomes lights out after that point. That's something we're working on with him to try to, pitch one. Let's be at our best at pitch one. But, we knew against Laramie, if we can get through the first 25, 30 pitches with him, he's going to settle in and throw really well.
You go to Missoula, Montana, and you get the host Montana team coming up. And you know what? Baseball up there is pretty doggone good as well. You're going to be in for a battle. It's, 1-2 barbecue. So this is nothing new for you on the coaching side, and even as a former player. Again, you have to bring A game with you. I thought for the most part through this tournament, your kids were at A game. I think the Gillette first game was probably your worst outing that I had seen. But other than that, when you get up to Missoula, there is no you can't fall down the ladder. You got to be up on the top all the time.
No doubt, and it's just an exciting opportunity to be able to go up there and face those teams. And really, it's what we've been preparing for all summer. And if you look at the draw, I think we have probably the best side of the bracket we've had in a long, long time, with us, the host team, Idaho, and Alaska all on one side of the bracket. So we knew it was one we really wanted to get to. We think it's a favorable matchup for us, and we want to get down there and enjoy ourselves and play good baseball.
Did the record help you on that side of the bracket? Not that you're going to be the number 1 seed on that side, but with the numbers that you have put up this season, did that help you draw And again, there's never an easy game when you go to that. But again, like you mentioned, the teams that you're going to play, teams that haven't played as many games as you.
Yeah, I think so. I think experience, and the biggest thing for us is just how many times that we've been into the back end of a tournament, played into the Final Four of a tournament. I think that really helped us get through the last day of the state tournament, knowing, hey, we've been here, we've done it. We've been in so many situations where you need to win two to win the tournament, and we've come through in that situation a couple times. So that's a confidence builder for us. And every time that you step out on the field at the regional is that same type of atmosphere, that same feeling. So I think we're well prepared for it. I think going through the losers bracket of this tournament helped even better prepare us for it. So I think we're ready to go. I'm just excited to get it going.
At least, again, here we are August 3rd, and again, we're kind of pushing late in the season here. Folks, at least some of your seniors are going to be focusing, at least, they're in the process of trying to get set up for college and everything, all like that. Now, again, with the 81 games that you played, not saying that your group right now is having that issue, but could it be a potential obstacle where, again, they're focused on a few other things, again, with the college? Is that something where it could be an issue coming up in this regional of trying to get them back into focus of, hey, we need to win this regional. We're taking on, that elevated talent compared to what we just saw here in the Wyoming State tournament?
I think sometimes that definitely can be an issue. But I think with the group of guys that we have right now, this is something that they set out. We had our spring training in the middle of March. And the first thing that was said with this group of guys and these seniors was, let's get to the World Series, guys. We are capable of doing this. We have a group of guys here that have played in this regional quite a bit, and we know what we're capable of doing. And I don't think that they're going to let anything distract them away from what their ultimate goal is. And a state title is part of that journey. It's huge for our program and huge for these guys to be able to accomplish that. But I think if they don't get to the World Series, they'll be disappointed in that, and this is important to them for sure.
Post 6 skipper Ty Lane joining us here. So as it's been reported, 16 out of the last 18, so since the turn of the century. Again, as the manager, and we were talking about it, you're never satisfied, you're never comfortable until that last out in the 7th inning, but you've been a part of these as a player, as a manager. Does it just get sweeter?
Yeah, it was sweet yesterday for sure. Especially when you take a loss in the tournament and you can start to see doubt creep in, not with our own guys, but in the people around us a little bit. You could see some doubt creep in, and that just gives us more energy and a little bit more fire to come back and get it done. And when you do it in that fashion, it's always really fun. But every one of them special. This group is a special group of guys, and I just love our seniors, and I love the guys that we have. This particular clubhouse has been a special one.
This state tournament, and I know you mentioned it to me when we were out there the other night when Casper was losing. And again, good teams that were there. Even though Rock Springs had only a handful of wins throughout the course of the season, but you look at the caliber of talent. Laramie rises up, out of the ashes, and Casper is not the big presence that it used to be. But again, you look at that team there out of Gillette. This is a team that slowly but surely has been building itself up to be a very formidable program. And again,
you kind of see it throughout the state of Wyoming, though, again, with Jackson as well, too, coming in, as much as they kind of competed through the state tournament. As, again, we talked with your pops, at least with Tag, and he kind of agreed with us that, the state of baseball in the state of Wyoming
is very healthy right now. And you had to be very happy with the way, in addition to winning, but the way the teams all performed here at Powers during this state tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been, a lot of credit, in my opinion, for that is Tag Lane, and he kind of set the bar at a certain level. And it's, if you want to compete here, this is the level that you have to be at. And people want to win and go get state titles, and I think it's helped the state of baseball and just trying to compete at the highest level that everyone can play at. I know, Jackson has done an outstanding job. Jay Huggins takes his team all over Idaho, and they play all over there. And Casper does this pretty much similar schedule to what we do, and Gillette does the same thing with Wyoming and North Dakota and South Dakota. So we compete in the state very well. We compete out of the state very well, and I think overall baseball in Wyoming is at a high level for sure.
Tournaments, and you've had a plethora of tournaments throughout the course of the year. So this Northwest Regional, I mean, how do you and again, I we've both been players, and I still play, but how do you get the nerves out of the kids? It's just another tournament. How do you present it to them? Hey, don't psych yourself out on this particular road to Missoula.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. That's a tricky one because you show up the day before and there's a big banquet and you see all those other teams in street clothes, and it's easy to kind of get yourself psyched out there. But I think that this group of guys and the schedule we've played, we feel like we can play and beat anybody that we see, and we're capable of doing it. So for us, it's going to be more look at ourselves. What did we just accomplish? We were able to come through in the biggest moments of the state tournament with all the pressure on us, and we did it. And we're capable of beating anybody. Let's go out there, enjoy ourselves, have fun, and compete at the highest level we can.
If we can keep you for about 10 more minutes, we're going to take a quick timeout. We're talking with Ty Lane, the Sixer skipper, and we're back after these words on 1480 K-Ray.
Your locally owned and operated radio stations, KYOI-FM and 1480 K-Ray AM, are just that, local, serving Cheyenne and Laramie County, where your advertising dollar stays local, too. It doesn't end up in Colorado, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, or even New York. We conduct business here, we shop here, and we live here. And we support our entire community 24/7, 365. Just because it has a window dressing doesn't mean it isn't a facade. A reminder from KYOI and 1480 K-Ray. Do you have a big remodeling project in mind? Then the best tool for you is a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank. Whether you are remodeling, making home repairs, or expanding, a home equity line of credit can help you finish that project. Stop in and we'll show you the hidden value in your home with a home equity line of credit from Platte Valley Bank.
Some restrictions may apply, subject to credit approval. Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you looking for a pharmacist who will actually take the time to talk to you? Then come to Medicap Pharmacy. We're dedicated to healthcare only, which means we'll fill your prescription quickly, and then we'll make time to listen, answer your questions, explain your prescriptions, and tell you about possible drug interactions.
Medicap Pharmacy will always make time for you.
Medicap Pharmacy, 1947 Bluegrass Circle, next to Texas Roadhouse in Cheyenne. Or call 635-3712.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk Today. Ty Lane joins us after the Sixers capture the state title yesterday, 8-4 over the Gillette Rough Riders. You know, Coach, as we look ahead towards this upcoming tournament, I want to just review back the games that I was out there. One thing I really enjoyed, and again, I obviously saw you lose to Gillette, but the defense was pretty solid. You got to be very happy throughout the course of this tournament.
There were some acrobatic plays out there, especially in that last game.
Your defense kept you in a lot of plays, or kept you in the game a lot throughout the course of this tournament.
Yeah, we played great defensively throughout the tournament. The one night that we didn't play clean, it cost us. So that's just a testament to the level of baseball that's being played. You got to play at that level in order to stay in the baseball game, and I think that's really good preparation for us because it's not going to be anything different when we get up to Missoula. You got to play defensively at a very high level.
All right, let's look at the pitching staff as you again. All arms are on call at any given moment, but again, you don't throw your number 5 in the first game and try to save. I mean, you're going to come right out and blazing with your top arms. So Do we see Cody Brooks opening up? Who do we see? Have you decided yet on who's going to be the opening day starter?
I don't think we've officially decided. We're definitely leaning towards Cody Brooks for sure. He threw game 1 for us last year, got us off to the right start. And in a tournament like this, you've pretty much got to go number 1, number 2, number 3, and go as long as you can and to stay in the thing. So we're going to come out with whoever we feel like gives us the best option to win on the first day and try to go get our first win and be there on day 3.
Final 2 tournaments at least this year, at least potential of the World Series as well too, which you guys are aiming for. But have we turned the wood bats into just kindling now for the rest of the season, or are we seeing just only metal for the remaining 2? Again, as a tradition here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, metal or wood, what do we expect here in regionals and also too for the potential at least World Series?
Yeah, so both the regional and the World Series will be the metal bat. Every now and then you find a pro prospect or somebody like that swinging a wood bat out there, but for the most part it'll be metal bats from here to the end.
So as we prepare, and again, it's the day after, and again, you won last night, you enjoyed it, you got the medals and everything else. Now we start focusing on Missoula, and obviously that started today. So again, with your pitchers, you got about 4 days off, so to speak. Do you just have them play a little toss right now? Do you do some simulations? What do you do in preparation?
Yeah, we've got probably what looks like a 2-day trip to get up to Missoula for us. So we're going to we took today off completely, just a day to recover, and then we'll come back tomorrow and do some light work, mostly hitting work and some infield defense, outfield defense, things like that, light bullpens maybe for some arms that didn't get used as much. So we'll do that for a couple days, and then I think we're going to leave Monday morning, try to make it to around Billings area and work out down in Billings, wake up the next morning and either work out there again in the morning or try to get to Missoula and get an evening workout down there before the banquet.
Do you do any advanced scouting? And again, most of the stuff can be found on the internet these days. Every game that you guys play and every game that everybody else plays is usually on the internet. But are you going to look at your upcoming opponents? I mean, how do you prepare for each individual game as you get ready?
Well, I have some friends, coaches that are friends that have seen Missoula a few times this year, and that's who we're going to open up with. So we'll get whatever books that they have on Missoula and take that into account. We know that they played in the Montana State tournament. They did not make the Final Four of that tournament, but they were competitive in pretty much every game that they played in. So I think they'll be good. Missoula is traditionally a very good club. We're excited for that opportunity, and we just got to take it one game at a time from there. Once we get down there, we'll have a good opportunity to go check out the rest of the teams that are there and try to figure out which matchups seem to fit us best.
One final thought here before we let you go, and again, thank you, congratulations as well. I know as a manager sometimes you kind of block out everything that goes on the outside, and I know we had the pregame awards there the other night where your dad and some of the locals also were recognized, but you had to be, in one sense, when you did take a look up there, the crowds that showed up, whether they were from Laramie, Jackson, Rock Springs, but the Cheyenne contingent that came out and supported your ball club. You had to be very happy with the crowds that we had at Powers Field over the weekend.
It was unbelievable, and that's what I was going to say is the most impressive thing is that the tournament was run Sunday through Thursday, so it's during the work week where people have a lot of other things going on, and to be able to get the crowds out there, the support out there that we had, so many former players and people that have been involved in Post 6 for a long time coming out and really supporting us, giving these kids that hometown feel and giving us the best possible opportunity to win the tournament. I think that was huge for sure.
Ty, all the best to you. Have safe journeys up to Missoula.
Before we let him go, though, again, okay. I got to ask him one question, though. As I let it out to tag on Monday, I'll ask you, Ty, has your pops outlined if you are, because again, we outlined that if if he wins regionals, gets over that hump, then maybe there should be an incentive for father down to son. Has he outlined what that incentive could be if you get past regionals?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard what that could be, but I
think he said something out of pocket monetarily, so
I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that.
He might lose his status.
That's true.
No, that's again. This is an exciting time here, and again, too, if I'm not mistaken. As we let Ty go here, 63 wins to date?
Yeah,
that's the most by any post 6 manager. If I'm not mistaken.
I think 64. Brandon Nimmo's team won 64, so we're one away. We need to go win one at the regional to tie it, win 2, and we can go get it. So we're right there.
We got to win more than 2 though.
We got to win.
We got to win next
4 or 5
level as well.
To get to that for sure.
All right, Ty, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us here on 1480 KRA. We're going to take a time out. We got more Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words.
Is your teenager ready to drive?
Come on, Mom. Let's go.
Sorry, you're not ready to drive yet.
What? Come on.
You need to complete a driver's ed class first.
The Wyoming-Montana Safety Council offers a complete driver's education program taught by Tim Woodard, former Laramie County School District's driver's ed teacher. Classes are starting soon. Please call 635-4592 to sign up or go to wmsafetycouncil.org. Wyoming-Montana Safety Council. Think safe, live safe.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
The time is now, and the place to go is Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service for their annual model clearance sale of Jayco RVs and fifth wheels. This is your year to travel the countryside, and what better way with your Jayco RV from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service. And to put you on the road today, save 30% on their annual model clearance. Their savings are always the best on whatever model you select. Come see and take home your favorite today when you buy from Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service at 6102 East Highway 30 in Cheyenne, or go online to jollyrogersrvs.com.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be mostly cloudy with thunderstorms in the afternoon with highs around 81. For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy with rain showers likely with lows around 56. On Saturday, it'll be mostly sunny with a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon with highs around 84. And on Saturday night, it'll be mostly cloudy with lows around 53.
Fat, lazy, and stupid is no way to conduct a sports talk radio show. We've thrown down the gauntlet, upped the stakes, and made it clear that when it comes to sports talk radio in Cheyenne, there's a new player in town. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
I can't believe it's late. Gosh, we've had a fun program again. Thank you most recently to Ty Lane. Join us on our program. We also had Bill Bendrin, and we were talking about the Urban Meyer situations. And it seems like so long ago that we actually talked to Coach Goff from Cheyenne East. So
it's probably right up until that semifinal game, which was November. So yeah, it's been quite some time, as you know, he just got off a vacation, so letting enjoy the summer before things kick up here on Monday with two-a-days out there. Do they still do two-a-days out here?
Yeah. There'll be two-a-days. There
was like years after I graduated where the old stint was, at least the 3 years that I was there, it was 2 weeks of two-a-days. You went through that of the 90-degree, 100-degree. There was no rain. It was pretty much, that high heat out there, at least early in the morning throughout the day. But my understanding, wasn't there a point where 1 or 2 years they just got rid of two-a-days? Like the Wyoming High School Athletic Association?
No.
Are you sure?
No, I
thought they retracted it back. It's only only like a week now,
I think
right?
you only get X amount of practices before the first game. See, and this is what's interesting. And not that I'm saying wimpy. I used to do 3-a-days. And matter of fact, I looked. We probably didn't go 3 hours like I see there, like 7 to 10. But we have 3-a-days. We'd have a morning. We'd come back right around lunchtime, and then we'd come back under the lights. Now, again, I'm on the left coast where it was.
Guess what? At our
100 degrees.
practice facility, we don't have lights. We don't, at least at East.
Well,
back in the day,
we actually
have that.
practiced in our high school stadium when we did 3-a-days. I want to do one more thing.
You're not because again, back in the day, we had the grass, and I don't think they wanted us to damage and tear through all that.
We ran through the grass, so that was no big deal.
I don't know.
All right, I want to mention this as we talked with Thailand at Post 6. We want to put another a message out here for Mustangs baseball.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have tryouts for the 2019 team. That's coming up this Tuesday. Mark it down, August 7th, Powers Field. So the 15 to 18-year-olds will be on the field from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. 13 and 14-year-olds will hit the field from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. All tryouts are free. You need to be there 30 minutes early for registration warm-up, and make sure you're wearing the appropriate baseball gear. Bring your own equipment. For more information, you can go to CheyenneMustangs.com or contact Rick Thompson.
The newly retired Rick Thompson,
who has stepped away from being the skipper.
Yeah.
You can reach him at 214-0900, 307-214-0900.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cheyenne Mustangs will have their tryouts coming up here very quickly. I do believe WYCO, at least Tackling's organization, had their tryouts earlier today, at least for the youth around town. And I do believe for Cheyenne Post 6, midway through August, they will have their own tryouts as well, too. But I think that's more for their kind of younger age groups, at least to grow up through the Post 6 system. So a lot of camps coming up here for the local baseball teams in town. So all that information is shared on our social media sites, which I did, I do believe, yesterday on our Twitter and Facebook pages. So go find that. And if you don't know how to find it, go and find Wyoming Sports Talk Today on Facebook when it is active, because apparently Facebook was down earlier today for whatever reason. You didn't see that?
No, because I'm not on it like you as often.
Sorry, I got to keep up with the news, and sorry, I have to, inform listeners or followers out there. Again, Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on Facebook, and you simply search for just that, or it's facebook.com/WYO Sports Talk, WYO Sports Talk.
Give us a like.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
Well, that's the only. Well, you can like and follow, and that's about all you can do.
Yeah, once you get on,
simple
you
enough.
can just go. Give us a like.
It's as simple as that. Also, too, I'm representing the show over on Twitter. You find me at Nick Wyo Sports. Again, that WYO, Nick Wyo Sports. On both sides, I'm giving you updates regarding guests who will be on the show. Any updates regarding the show, like, for instance, next week, Monday through Wednesday, hey, I'll be in the Lone Star State, so there will be no shows, at least for Monday and Wednesday. Also, too, any news to pass along, like, for instance, did pass along the, at least, notification or at least the update that Urban Meyer did release, so you folks can go out there and see what he did have to say for himself, and other notes around local, regional, or national news. And, again, that's where you find us on our social media sites, or also, too, if you can't find those for whatever reason, we do have a website of 1480krae.com. Go into the programming guide, which has Golden Age. It also has Hope for Today, but also will have Wyoming Sports Talk Today. You click on that icon, you go there, and at the top of that page are 3 buttons that lead you over to the Facebook side, the Twitter side for Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and also to the 1480K Ray YouTube channel, which we are live right now on there, and also to Periscope Live, where I do have chat pulled up there every day, so at least when the show is on, where I do suggest, or at least I do request that comments, suggestions, and questions, hey, send them our way, and we will talk about it, if I see it.
I got an email here just a couple of moments ago, a young lady named Penny who said, she likes listening to us, so thank you very much for that. And she also mentioned, talk a little more about high school volleyball, which we will. And matter of fact, we just had
Nicole, do believe Quigley, or what are you talking Austin Albers?
Yeah, with Austin Albers on here.
I'm just saying we had Shine East volleyball, at least head coach. She was on talking about camps, I do believe last month.
The thing is, though, and this I'm going to throw some kudos to you. Nick is grabbing every coach that we can. Who
wants to join us, as I've been trying also to, again, as football's fastly approaching, we are trying to get Dan Gallus from Cheyenne South. We've already talked with Mike Apodaca, so we don't really need to pick his brain until game 1.
But like I said, all the fall sports they get underway. There's golf that's going to be getting underway again.
It's trying to wrangle up all these people.
Cross country. So just so you know, Penny, that we will we'll keep you apprised of what's going on at all 3 of the schools. And again, too, especially with the volleyball program.
And again, it's not favoritism. It's just what.
No, I was going to say, Austin said that too. That in addition to we talking about it, he's got his eyes on it as well because, again, he needs prospects and recruits. And matter of fact, most recently, Cheyenne East Jazzy Espinosa heading over there to do her volleyball over at LCCC. The last thing I have here, and I know it's not going to take us up to the top of the hour, but you mentioned something that was funny during the break. If too bad we can't see a show of hands out there, but I'll bet you that not even 0.5% watched last night's Hall of Fame game between the Ravens and the Bears.
From what I saw of Nielsen reports, it was on par for like a baseball game of how much people were tuned into it.
I mean out here.
Oh, out here?
Who cares? And again,
I
Joe Flacco did not play.
I mean, what do you want? Again, unless you're watching the Rockies. Well, Rockies weren't an action.
Rockies played earlier in the day. And a lot of us were out here.
Yeah.
At Power Field.
Again, not the whole. This is a metropolitan, or it's not even a metro,
people.
but the city population of 65,000. But
I can't believe that many people needed a football fix last night with the Bears. and the Ravens.
I think it's a decent amount because again, there are fanatics out there.
Where was it on? I don't even know what network it was.
NBC.
On. Oh, it was on NBC last night?
How do you not know that?
I don't watch network television.
The Hall of Fame game has always been. That first game has always been on NBC.
Oh, I watch only the football network.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. But anyway, so Mitchell Trubisky did not play for the Bears.
Why would he?
And Joe Flacco. So that was the first. Again, they play 4 games. So
that's why, again, I keep on saying preseason's a joke. Who cares? Let's just move on. Was I going to tune in for the Hall of Fame game? No. I'll tune in for the Hall of Fame as much. Again, that's the only thing that's relevant here in the at least preseason before Week 1 starts for the NFL. But, again, seeing starts from RG3, do I care? He's not going to start. Unless something drastic happens.
Jackson, who they picked up in the first round, the Ravens, he's not going to start. It's Joe Flacco's job.
Again, all it is just reps and also trying to get those these players on the fringe, like for instance a Tanner Gentry, former Wyoming Cowboy playing for the Chicago Bears, who we've had on the show before. Again, trying to show what he can do, at least try to get that instance to maybe start or at least get some playing time with the Chicago Bears. So, but other than that, though, again, not much to read into it. It was a 1-point victory for the Ravens. Rah. I do believe final score 17-16. Who cares?
Nobody cared. That's what I keep trying to say. It was a game.
Again, and I don't know who brought it up, but I think it was one player, but years ago, who mentioned, hey, why not just cut in half the preseason? Make it just only 2 games. Let the fans, or at least their season ticket holders, they get that. Where team plays 1 on the road, 1 at home. There you go. You get your 1 freebie game of being a season ticket holder, and then add 2 regular season games to the tail end. And make it more viable like that. Again, 4 preseason games, just to toss out. Where again for the 49ers or Broncos, Case Keenum, Jimmy G, you're going to see maybe they get in total for 4 games. Probably touch the football 10, 20 times, maybe, if at all. Anything really relevant? Who cares?
Are you going to?
What a waste.
Are you going to watch the Hall of Fame ceremonies?
Yeah, I'm curious about it. Saw the MLB one. It's always good to see who's going in. And again, my eyes, even though he's not going to be there, again, show some support for the TO again.
Oh, he's a clown. Here's
49er. He's again one of the top 5 receivers of all time.
Let me give you a preview of next year's class. These are the semifinalists. Champ Bailey, who was a cornerback for the Broncos and the Redskins,
deserves it.
Tony Gonzalez, tight end for both the Chiefs and the Falcons,
but more so again notably of the Chiefs.
Ed Reed from the Ravens, Texans, and the Jets. He was a safety.
More notably for the Ravens, but yes.
Other potential finalists: Steve Atwater, former Bronco, and New York Jet. Rondé Barber, cornerback from the Buccaneers, who has a Super Bowl ring.
Yep.
Leroy Butler, safety from the Green Bay Packers.
Don't know much of him.
Tony Baselli, the offensive tackle from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Don't know much.
Oh, he was awesome. Isaac Bruce, who did most of his damage as a St. Louis Ram. Did play with the Niners for a little bit.
Yeah, and his tail end of the career where, again, they were just kind of desperate for some offense.
Alan Faneca, who was a guard with the Steelers, Jets, and the Cardinals. Steve Hutchinson, guard with the Seahawks, Vikings, and Titans.
Yeah.
How about Edgerrin James, running back for the Colts?
That's a name you haven't heard in a while.
Cardinals and Seahawks.
Yep.
You know, again,
I know him more as a force with the Cardinals than anything of just what he used to do against the 49er defense, but
Ty Law, cornerback, Patriots, Jets, Chiefs, Broncos.
Yeah.
John Lynch.
Oh, yeah.
Who's been on the fringe of getting in.
I think he deserves it. I think he was a quality player again with the Buccaneers, spent
And
time
the
with the Broncos, yeah.
Kevin Maway, center for the Seahawks, Jets, and Titans.
Yeah.
Here's a blast from the past who do you think should be in there or not? Carl Mecklenburg from the Denver Broncos, linebacker.
If I have to pause on it, no. I really don't think so.
They passed on him. I think he's a Veterans Committee pick.
Yeah, if I had to choose between him or John Lynch, where, again, two of them were kind of that fringe of getting in, I would have to say John Lynch had a better career than that. But yeah, he might eventually get in, but I really don't think he'll be a part of that class next year, especially how already stacked it
and
could be.
Other semifinalists from this year who might be semifinalists: Simeon Rice, Leslie O'Neal, Don Coryell, Eric Coryell from the San Diego Charger days, Roger Craig from the 49ers.
Roger Craig is in that same situation with, again, great player, but he's that John Lynch kind of, he's a fringer, but in my heart, I want to, especially as a Niner fan, say yes, but it might take him some time.
Torrey Holt, Jimmy Johnson, that goes
Holt,
that goes way back in my day with the Niners, Jimmy Johnson. Richard Seymour, and Hines Ward from the Steelers.
Hines Ward, I am surprised he maybe makes it in next year. I feel like he has a good. I think he has good enough numbers, but anyway, he was a great. Or I don't know if I should say great, but he was good with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a big name for those those championship winning teams out there in Pittsburgh. But yeah, I could see him making it in next year. He again he falls in that similar situation where it's on the fringe of I can see it either way.
I was also hearing earlier today, is that Eric Reed? I can't remember. I think he had a invite to play with the Cincinnati Bengals.
I have no idea.
And the Bengals, I guess he's filed a grievance with the Players Association because the Bengals asked him if because I guess he has been one of those that kneeled during the national anthem, and they asked him if he was.
Oh yeah. Well, again, he was right.
Packing.
He was right there next with with Kaepernick, again, part of those 49er teams. He was the first to kind of
join him.
Join. He was the second party of when that was starting out there in San Francisco. But Eric Reed in this situation, again, he's kind of got that black cloud above him of going, do we chance it with him? Again, Eric Reed as a defenseman. Okay, it's the same It's the same argument that I give with Kaepernick, where it's like he was okay, he was not great. He had pieces around him that elevated his play and made him look great. Mm-hmm. But Eric Reed, especially in those later years where that Niners franchise was not anything spectacular, he was just mediocre at best. He was not that terribly. Again, when he left the 49ers? Was I upset by it? No. It was, move on.
But it's interesting, though, that the Bengals gave him a tryout or were willing to give him a tryout, but the first thing he said, hey, do you plan to kneel during the national anthem? And he, whatever he said, they sent him packing, so he filed a grievance with the Players Association.
We'll see what happens.
This is going to be top-notch news all through.
And again, is this the start of the slippery slope for the NFL at this point in time? Absolutely. Is this something where, all right, Eric Reed does it? Hey, maybe Kaepernick comes out and says, all right, I'm going to – well, granted, he already did to the NFL, but maybe he goes after him again. I'm going, hey, here's another grievance or another lawsuit. Maybe other players of saying, well, you're forcing me into the locker room or I can't kneel anymore. Hey, Players Association, I'm going to file a grievance with you as well. Is this something that's going to start the snowball effect where it's going to be something out of control where Goodell in that front office of the NFL is not going to be able to handle? Possibly. Possibly. Again, as Eric Reed and Kaepernick were the first two to kind of start this, movement across the NFL, maybe this is the same situation where it's the start of something again. that the NFL has to deal with.
Couple more things here. Some good news out of Wyoming Cowboys camp. Looking right now again with Cooper Roth. He has been very impressive. Cooper Roth in the kicking game, place kicking field goals, and Roth didn't have too bad of a year last year for the Cowboys.
He missed a few, but nothing.
He wasn't bad. And then also, too, we may not have the quarterback this year who could throw the distance of a Josh Allen, but we got Tyler Vander Waal who can go deep. And again, not 75 yards. And we got Nick Smith who could throw as well. But things that Coach Bull pretty happy with right now, Avante Cox, who has good speed.
Yeah.
Rocket, Rahib Ismail Jr., they have showed some really promising things. Some giddy up from James Price doing a good job. Also at the tight end position, Austin Fort has been showing some good stuff. So, and then
it's good. Obviously, it's kind of PR stuff. And again, we'll see how it translates to
good. Jared Scott, though. Here's a guy that is going to. I think if they go to the tight end a little more like they did back in the day, Scott is 6'6", 230.
Yeah.
You know, they
again, this is all good. It's good. It's great news out of the camp, but does it translate to regular season? Is it going to translate game one in Las Cruces? We'll see. Again, it is a situation where, again, that offense is the biggest question mark right now for the Wyoming Cowboys. Again, we know what the defense is. We know how stellar it is. It's a top 10 defense. It's one of the best in the nation. But that offense, is that going to be a helpful addition or a hindrance to that defense? That is, right now, why I have to kind of bite my tongue on a few things with Wyoming. I can't really say it's a bowl team until I see what this offense can do.
And also, too, media was asking yesterday about the running backs, Nico Evans, Kellen Overstreet, Terry Woods. They're challenging for the playing time this season. Now you can add to the name to the list there. Javon Bigelow is another guy.
More fun of the rotating running back situation that we saw last year.
Taking a hard look at him. All right, I got to wrap things up here, and I know you got this date in history.
We're wrapping up 4 minutes early.
Oh, no. I wanted to throw this at you because, and I mentioned you this morning on our sister station, KYOY.
Why?
Because it was big news.
What?
In Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh.
In the area there of Knoxville, one of the smaller cities.
It's Knox County, but anyway.
Knox County.
There you go.
Your buddy, Kane.
My buddy?
Oh, yeah. Come on. You and me have been wrestling fans, and let's be real. We've seen.
Well, you make it sound like I know the guy. I've only seen him in a few matches.
All right, but anyway, and if you've ever been to a WWE event, you saw Kane.
Well,
Kane dressed in the red.
Is, yeah.
Well, anyway, his name is Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah.
And he ran as a Republican. He's now the new mayor. I love him down in Tennessee. How about that?
He won by at least a good amount.
It was not a landslide.
It was a good amount, but it wasn't as close as were at least in the
polls predicted it to be a little closer. Yeah.
But in the prelims, I think he barely won by 100 votes against another Republican contender. So interesting to see. Obviously, he will not be a part of any WWE storyline for quite some time, even though they just lost. They had a tag team championship match that they lost at Extreme Rules last month. So obviously, you're not going to see him for quite some time because he's got to do his political thing.
Yeah, and he joins the ranks to a certain degree of Linda McMahon, who's in President Trump's cabinet.
How about joins the ranks of
Jesse the Body
There you go. Who's been a mayor.
No, he's governor.
Well, he started as a mayor, then became governor.
So anyway, interesting, Kane. I mean, of all the people you think of becoming a mayor. Anyway, we got to wrap things up.
The same with JBL, where he's a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And he lives in Bermuda and started their own rugby organization out there.
Bradshaw Layfield, boy, he's made a lot of money as well.
Anyways,
matter of fact, he was on Fox for the longest time too, on Saturdays. All right, we got to wrap things up. Nick's going to be gone here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're back with the program on Thursday, so we thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, and we got the best of the 50s and 60s coming up. It is Friday. We don't run